Damn, am I live? I'm live? We're live? It's happening. I'm looking at this motherfucker. Any given moment, he's going to destroy Alderaan. I can see it. The only thing mixing is that fader switch. Yo, 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 yo. You know, we only start late when we got a very good reason. Bonnie's jaw just hit the goddamn... Bonnie just looked at Bryce's unit and lost her fucking mind. She couldn't believe the size of it and all the colors. Here, show her the thing where they move on their own. Is that amazing? Everybody's asking when we're going to upgrade Bryce's set. Guess what? We just did. Motherfucker's got all the lights.
Hello, everybody. Hey, there we go. Hi, everybody. We are have a brand new mixer. You can see it here on my screen here. And we are still getting a bunch of stuff figured out.
Yeah, we're figuring it out. Here, let me see what happens if I turn up the monitor over here.
And it'll turn up.
All right.
So start talking for me?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So like if I'm talking right now, oh, you set some gate. Oh, goddamn, we got Justin Robert Young calling live on the line on his very own channel for the first time ever.
Justin, can you hear us?
Oh, Justin.
How's it going, Justin?
Oh, can you hear me?
Are you fucking seeing this shit? Are you fucking seeing?
Yeah. Oh my God, our boy Bryce is running a goddamn spaceship.
Hey, wait a minute. Can I talk over you? Are we talking?
Hey,
wait. Hold on.
You piece of shit.
I think we're both talking.
Shit. Fuck you.
It's not perfect, but I gotta. God damn it, we can interrupt each other. God damn it! This is fucking amazing. Oh shit!
Oh yeah, so you can hear everything I'm saying.
I mean, yes. There's a little bit of clipping in the first, 200 milliseconds of everything, but everything else is like you can interrupt me. So I'm gonna give you a rant, and I want you to interrupt me, and I'll raise my hand the moment I hear you interrupt me. All right. All right, so I got a fucking gold play button, and you would think that would be the awesomest thing in the entire fucking world, but you'd already spent all of my money on a bunch of replicas.
Ignored AIDS. Reagan knew about AIDS.
That's fucking amazing.
Here, wait,
Wait,
Bryce.
am I hearing a ground loop, though?
You might have turned your speaker up a little too much.
Yeah, that's probably... Okay, so that's on my speaker. And then and you sound blown out on this monitor, but I'm going to assume that you
Skype
are
does?
looking at level. What's that?
Skype does or me?
No, you do. Like Justin sounds regular, but wow, holy shit, does it sound different?
My pregame might have been a little too much.
Yeah.
Is that too much?
No, I mean, it sounds good now. That's pretty great.
Awesome. And then...
God, hey, real quick, chat. How we feeling? Like significant improvement? Worthy investment? It's a good thing. We bought the man. Who was the guy that did the Rendezvous Houston light show and synth thing? He had like some kind of crazy. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
NASA, but was it NASA though?
Yeah, I guess
NASA.
Justin ever so slightly is clipping out, so maybe. Oh, okay. It's hard for me to know if it's on my end or someone else's.
Well, that is Brian. We were talking earlier. You mentioned that thing was fucking big. Holy shit! Is it goddamn chungus? But if it gets us to where we need to go, then holy moly!
And what's funny is in my mind, I'm like, I mean, how many channels do you need? You got me. You got you. You got Bonnie and, I don't know, the computer, I guess. But now he's able to, like, parse out all of the individual Skype calls to their own Jeep jobs. It's going to be amazing. Plus, here's another thing, and you can't see this right now. We have not had... Right now, I'm looking at the program that has the back of Bryce's head as he works this out. But previously, there was no way for me to be able to tell if you had something to add because I had no eyes on the current Skype call.
Right.
And so we added a third monitor over here that duplicates the Skype screen. So now, here, let me send you a picture of this. And then...
yeah, we bought, it's like a $100 BenQ monitor for Brian. So now he can see the Skype window the whole time.
So
no matter what the shot out is, he can always just see the Skype.
Well, and I could tell who is about to have something to say so that I can either yield the floor or tee them up or whatever. Here, I just sent you something. Did you get it?
Taking a look.
So I'm able to see,
nice. That's great.
I'm able to see the program out, and the chat is big enough right here that I can read it easily from this distance. Down below it is the second monitor where I could see whatever Bryce is teeing up to show for content. And then below that is now a third monitor where I'm able to keep an eye on whoever's on via Skype.
Yeah.
Let me just say this is everybody understanding the point of having a fucking dedicated studio?
Yeah, as Eoxy in the chat says, be careful, we might get confused for actual professionals.
Yeah, no shit, right? Holy moly. That I mean
oh my God. I just can't get over the connection between the two of us.
That we actually don't have to like fucking do our like pause repeat thing.
I mean that has been one of the most significant growing pains about moving into the new studio is while visually we were able to get everything set, structurally we were happy with everything, just the comedy timing it's been agonizing.
That was a big thing about when I first moved out here and I was driving up to Twit, is like on one hand we went from like Brian setting up a professional studio in his house, which looked good, right? And that was like compared to me putting fucking newspaper clippings behind my head that made that look like there was like, okay, there's these two things. And then all of a sudden I was in the Twit studio. So now we had room for guests and musical acts and everything. But the one thing that we were never able to get over through the entire Twit studio era of NSFW was the Skype hole. The Skype hole was always a fucking problem.
And it was two-way. Like even
over
if there were some episodes where I was switching and you were in the well, and there were other times that, you know, especially during the summer music series, it was being switched locally at Twit, and I was at the bottom of the well. Spoiler alert, both of us hated being at the bottom of the well.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. It's really fucking frustrating.
Well, and even now, this is before we've optimized anything. Just in the first few minutes, it's very clear. Like I feel closer to you comedically and emotionally and personality wise than at any point in the studio up to this point.
So this whole time we just been waiting on a mixer to.
It's a big mixer.
You never know the cure until you finally do it, right? Like you always know. It's like at a certain point you're like, oh, sure, yeah, diet and exercise and getting more sleep. I'm sure that would make my life a lot better. And then you do it and you're like, oh, shit, diet, exercise, getting more sleep. Turns out that actually makes my life a lot better.
Speaking of, I just bought an app that tells me to drink water. So
that's all it does?
Yeah, it was $5 too. But a lot of them are like
$5.
Yeah, but a lot of them are like subscriptions, and that's way worse. I'm never gonna pay $6 a month.
Get the fuck out of there.
So I have a thing that's like, hey, you should drink some water, and so
I got a pre-show rant I want to go on. You guys ready for this?
Yeah, but before you do, just to put a button on things. I'm guessing, Bryce, that it's not a problem that I've turned up the monitor louder than it usually is. I mean, everything seems to be sounding good.
Sure, if it sounds fine on your side.
I don't know. I just feel like that would not jive with my personality. Like my app beeps in and says, you should drink some water. I'm like, fuck you. Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, you're not my real dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. God damn it.
You had a
either
rant.
a memory or a dream where I was talking about like how something in my life that I now do all the time, I didn't do for the longest time, specifically because it was a fuck you, don't tell me what to do.
Brush your teeth.
I just bought an app that tells me to brush my teeth twice a day. I'm not kidding. It's called hold on. It's called Streaks. It's Streaks. It's all about like here's 12 things you should do or not do every day.
Oh my god, I really it's the same app?
No, it's a different.
You bought different apps to remind you of different obvious things?
That's right.
Oh my lord!
Look, I'm exercising. I'm trying to get my fucking adult on.
No, look, we're all proud.
The water shit's legit. The water shit is worth a timer because I read on Reddit once when I had a hangover because I'm on the Hydro Homies subreddit that is it is dedicated to memes and lifestyle of staying hydrated. Okay. But somebody was like, because this is like a common theme on there, is that people pee a lot because they're just drinking water fucking constantly. Oh, yeah. And somebody was like, oh, I actually work at a national park. My job is to always be ready for and very often administer rehydration to people who have dehydrated.
Right.
So if you are at maximum dehydration, which are the people that he sees, the only thing you can do is a pint an hour. Anything else, and you are going to...
Sorry, a what?
A pint an hour.
Oh, a pint an hour. Got it.
Yeah. A pint of water an hour is the only thing that really is going to do anything for you. Beyond that, you're just going to pee it out. So if you're drinking more than a pint of water an hour, that's why you're peeing constantly. But I would say this, when I've set my time, I've been hungover. I'm like, well, fuck it. I know what that fucking park ranger on the internet told me to do. Set a timer on my phone. Every hour, I'm going to go chug a pint of water, and then I'll slowly but surely be getting better as fast as I possibly can. It fucking helps. But also, an hour goes way faster than you think it does in life.
Suddenly you're like, oh my god, it's already time for another. That the best trick that I used to lean on was once you got past, once you could tell you were buzzed having beers, I would always have it in a bottle, and then once I finished one, I would refill it with water. Learned that there's a new term for this. It's called surfing the urge. The urge is to go into your next beer. Yeah. And so rather than say, no, I'm not going to have another beer, what you do is you say, I will have a beer just as soon as I finish this full bottle of water. And then, of course, it takes long enough time that you bypass the urge, and oftentimes you don't even get around to having that next beer. But at the very least, you definitely never wake up with a hangover, because all hangovers basically are nothing but dehydration.
Yeah, 100%. See, I'm not really good at that denying the urge part. That's usually
surfing the urge. Like, you're not denying it. That's an important distinction.
No, I'm good at drowning in the urge. That's my superpower.
I'm pretty much good at just urge. That's it.
Yeah, urge is pretty much listening to the urge. Is the way that I like to live my life. All right, here's my story. So, I was talking to Brian. Going to this local bar. I was going to have a drink and do the free political newsletter. Wrote the free political newsletter. And then I take a scooter back because I want to get back here as soon as possible so I can be ready for the pre-show. I get to the front of my building. I park my scooter. And I park it there. And then all of a sudden this guy comes up. And he's like, hey, do you live in this building? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, I even forget his name. I'm your neighbor. Could you do me a favor and just move your scooter to the end of the block? And I'm like...
So I am assuming that this is all fueled by... Because I'm playing a new game called Robot Cyclist Extreme Go, and I'll get double points if a scooter gets moved to the edge or whatever.
So his reasoning was... Because you've... I think Bonnie's been to my apartment, but Brian, you've been there.
Yeah.
It's street parking, so there's cars on the curb right in front of my building. He's like, oh, I just don't want somebody to swing open their door and hit it on a scooter. I don't think Bonnie's mic is on.
Oh.
I think that sounds like a manufactured excuse for him just not wanting it there.
Yeah. By the way, what it reminds me of is we had this. We have an old house that became an investment property, and we had a tenant who would call me and ask if there was anything to be done about the airplanes that keep flying over the house.
Get out of here. Get out of here. But you want to know what? That is just somebody who is upset that airplanes are flying over. He is yelling at the clouds, literally. And that is that. This man is taking it upon himself. And by the way, the thing that I'm leaving it on, I'm leaving the scooter next to so it doesn't fall over on a street sign that tells you when you need to move your car each and every week. Mm-hmm. By the way, bikes get fucking like locked onto that thing all the time. Like people lock their bikes to that fucking street sign. So that is a far more cumbersome thing that people could ram their doors into. But in the moment, I'm like, look, I got to get up. I got to do the thing. This guy's being a social justice warrior for fucking e-scooter placement. God bless him. Let's just move on. I'm like, cool. But when you lock the scooter, which I already had at the point that he was talking to me, I'm like, do you mind if I just leave this here now? Because it's going to like beep. Because when you move it, once it's locked, it goes like, meep, meep, meep.
Right. It's like, I'm being stolen.
Yeah.
Please don't steal me.
So he goes like, he gives me the look of like, I'll move it.
Wait, he said that?
Yeah.
Knowing that it was going to alarm up or whatever.
So I'm like, a fucking whatever, dude. Okay. Like, it's not enough. Like, okay, so now you've let in with this idea that you live in my building, right? So now we're neighbors. You're starting this on the idea of, hi, I've never met you. I live in your same building. I would like to tell you about our good Lord Jesus Christ, right? This is, you're proselytizing me into the way of all this. And then it's like, oh no, you also have to pick up the fucking scooter, make a bunch of noise, and move it to the end of the block. He's like, oh no, I'll do it. Don't worry. I'll take your burdens onto me because I'm the great scooter mover.
Now wait.
And I'm like, go ahead.
Is this guy waiting for you to show up with the scooter? Like, did you feel ambushed?
No.
I feel like this guy was just standing there.
This was a crime of
scooter.
opportunity.
Crime of opportunity. All right. It gets better.
Oh.
I'm so whoa.
This
Okay.
is already awkward enough.
All right, go on.
Yeah.
So now I'm moving the scooter. Predictably, it's being fucking loud. And also the wheels lock. So now I literally have to lift it up, and it's doing the waggle of like the back of the scooter.
The waggle of shame.
Yeah, I'm waggle of shaming to the end of the goddamn block, right? Beep, 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 beep. He's like, oh man, I would have moved it. And I'm like, but this is not helping. You're not helping by explaining to me that you would have moved it after you fucking told me to move it. And now I'm moving it. So like you explaining to me while I'm making an ass of myself is not helping. Now you would think if you were this guy, there are two moves. If I were this guy, if I had gotten to this point and I were this guy, there are two moves. Either A, go into the building as fast as possible to avoid further contact. B, just take a walk around the block and just let me get into the goddamn building to avoid further contact.
Well, and all of this tells me that his reason was a lie and that he just has whatever going on in his life. Like there's every so often I pull out the nuclear bomb of responses to YouTube comments where like somebody like if they're so mad that they're irrational, but I feel like I can save them, then I try to take that energy and guide them. If they're giving lazy sass, I usually give lazy sass back. But every so often there's somebody who strikes at what they perceive to be the heart, and they very clearly have lots of energy and only want to cause misery. And to them, I don't even address what they say. I just respond with, man, I can't possibly know what's happened in your life that has led you to seek validation by posting this kind of comment on YouTube. but as a friend, I want you to know that I hope you get past that. This motherfucker gives two shits. He was manufacturing. He's got other shit going on in his world. That's why he's doing all that.
I don't doubt that that's the underpinning, but I do believe that there is an element of sanctimony that happens in this region of the world, the Bay Area, where he wants to then, after now we've both been through the ritual sacrifice of making the world a better place by way of e-scooter movement.
Because God forbid somebody might open their door and hit a scooter that's plainly there in front of them.
I want to know where his hands were while you were moving the beeping machine. Were they
down his pants? Was he
by the
fully
way,
erect?
it's raining. Also, it's raining. This entire time, it's raining.
It's raining,
so
come,
angry.
sanctimonious living, come.
It's fucking so it's not hard, but it's definitely it's raining enough to be like, oh shit, it's raining. So I get to the end, I move it, beep, 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 get to the end of the block, it's there, and then he's like, hey, so what was your name again? I have no words. And actually, in fact, he asked me that while I was still moving it. On the way back, he's like, hey, yeah, man. Anyway. And I'm like, I just fucking walked past him and
did not even answer. Did not even grace that with a response.
I just walked past him, buzzed in, walked there, and then like he actually is like going to the main elevator. I waited to see which movement, because there's a back elevator and a front elevator. I waited to see where his pivot step was to which elevator, because I'm like, there's zero chance I am spending one more second with this person.
All right, look.
Oh
I think it's important for us to go through the clarifying ritual of recognizing things you didn't do. Question.
Yeah.
Did you get your 15-year-old daughter to engage in a unified chant of fuck you, fuck you, fuck you to your newfound neighbor?
I mean, only for lack of a 15-year-old daughter. No, I could not in good conscience tell you what I would have done with a 15-year-old daughter.
Especially when she was the one who started.
I was in a mood. I was in a mood for which, if that popped up on my Pokemon attack menu, and I would dare say it might be very effective.
Oh man, that is so. I don't think I could live out there. I think I would just be like.
To be fair, this is something that happens very rarely, and also it's
really?
like it comes at the end of, being able to e-scoot out to a cool bar and then e-scoot back from a cool bar and then come do my show.
Future people problems.
It is a part of the package, but man, when you get that fucking gigantic tin of every flavored fucking jelly beans and like you have a great time until you get that one fucking black licorice that you hate so much you want to vomit.
Yeah.
Well, a wise friend of mine once said that stress is like a glass of water and it only spills over once it's already full.
Was this Bryce or was that?
It was
It was
Justin.
definitely me. I definitely said that one.
I was literally telling Brian last week.
That's adorable. Well, I had the other day I was at my studio and I'm loading out of my studio because I'm kind of now that I'm down at the Doherty, I'm taking a step back. I have access to a kiln. I'm having to work smaller, but I want to save money up for my big kiln. So I'm moving out. I'm a little triggered because I'm emotional about it, and then the woman in she's a good friend of mine. She comes in and I'm parked so that I can easily load every part of my car because I'm clearing it out so I can set up the show, and I'm making a big move.
This is at Fire Seat or Doherty?
At the Fire Seat.
Okay.
And then she comes in and she goes, well, could you just move your car over, so you're actually in your spot, all the way in that spot. So that's like a foot over. And I said, well, no, I'm parked there so the doors can be open and so I can load it all the way and I don't have to step around I mean, I'm doing that on purpose, but nobody else is here but you and me. And then a minute goes by, I load one more stuff, and she's like, it's just that, people will come. And I'm like, there's 4 spots, right? So it's,
Dude, when people invent so there's whatever that is, it's the same thing that causes people to keep going after they fucking won the argument. Yes. After you say, you've convinced me, I'll take action. Right. They can't stop themselves from like, well, I mean, it's just that you're like, but
then it gets
credits
worse.
are rolling. Family Feud is over. You don't get to explain why you were right.
So it gets worse because then I'm like, no, I'm actually going to therapy right now so I can assert myself nicely, right?
Tell me you told her that.
No, not then. Well, I did.
That would be an amazing boss move.
No, I did. I did, but not quite so clearly. But basically, so then I said,
the words that I said were, "Come over here, Penny. Fuck you.
No,
fuck you.
Fuck you. I was if that pokey card was in my I was pretty upset because I was already full glass of stress. And then
I thought you were going to say full glass of Merlot.
Yeah, no, full glass of it was just stress.
I was not having this shit.
Yeah, so exactly. So as it turns out, I was rolling with the low.
No.
Ain't no laws.
So I said, well, I'll move it, but
I'm gonna need $20.
No, and a blowjob. No, I just like, I go. I don't want to move it. I don't think it's a problem, but I will, and I moved it.
That's great. So you handed it back to her. You say you effectively communicated like you failed to convince me with your bullshit reason, but I'm going to do this. Yeah. Because it appears to be important.
I feel like this was the exact same situation that I was in, and I feel like we took the same course of action. That it's at a certain point, it's like, look, I'm not going to argue with you on your dumb logic. It's really stupid. I could point out why. I could spend this entire time of us getting into an argument about why your irrational point is not well-founded, but very obviously you've put so much more thought into this than I have. Right. So like there's no little tiny Jenga piece that I could pull out of your fucking logic engine on this that will make it all collapse in the next 5 seconds.
Right.
So fuck. But that being said, this is the jujitsu move. You have to say, all right, I'm going to do what you're doing really quick and let you know that I don't like it because my only recourse at this point is you feeling bad. And I want to make you very aware of the fact that you are an asshole and you should feel bad about the fact that you're an asshole.
Oh, dude, by the way, real quick. Sorry. Hold on. A little bit aroused. Somebody in the chat just goes, ooh, an X32 board. Yeah.
So I don't think we actually told people. People can hear me, right? We got a Behringer X32, the full size, the whole Mama Jamma. Which one is it?
Yeah. It depends. I mean,
you're the
what color's your
motherfucker
skin?
with the board. You decide, baby.
But yeah, we've got it. It was me and Jacob. Jacob was here helping me out, putting this stuff together.
Oh, awesome.
But I mean, there was somebody else who had a little hand in it.
Oh,
God?
You know what? I'm comfortable with that terminology.
What a dick.
I mean, just big ups to the man who had to hit that very heavy buy button.
We had,
You saved it though, man.
He did. He put a nice runner. He put a good runner on this table too. He found the table and made it look real nice. So
that's cool.
Thank you, Brian, for.
Yes, hey man, all credit to the one. Let me drop some V's on you. The V's are $5 bills in Roman times.
I don't know. I want to save this. We might need to save it for the show. But I have some V's to drop.
Oh, good.
You got V's?
I got some V's. Yeah.
Are they the bees' V's?
It might be.
Worship fully the queen, for she is the source of all life. Obey. Go sector southwest, south by southwest, 25 degrees. Turn left, right, 1, 2. Collect pollen, protect queen, return. Psalm 99.
Well, shit. Wait, we want to take pre-show breaks?
Yeah,
or do we
let's
wanna
take a break.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Everybody
make it
go take a break. Hey, Bonnie.
Hello, how are you, Bryce?
I'm doing very good. You know, sometimes we get new equipment and I'm panicking for like 5 hours.
Yeah.
And today, like, coming in, it was just all adrenaline and everything is legitimately working well.
You know what he said? He said and I couldn't believe these words are coming from Bryce's mouth. He said he like took a moment. He was like, "Hey, tonight during the pre-show, just anything you want on sound, just let me know. Like if anything's up more or less or whatever. You know what? In fact, during the show, just you know, you can text me, call it out, stop the show, just whatever you want.
I don't think I said stop the show, but
Stop the show.
I mean, also, would we know if Brian stopped the show? Like, if Brian deliberately tried to stop the show, would it indeed really stop the show?
Oh my god. So speaking of adrenaline, so I'm having to drive with my 15-year-old, and I let her drive today on the way home from school.
now how far a drive are we talking? 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes?
It was a 30-minute drive.
Okay. Oh,
so-
wow. Yeah, long haul.
Yeah. Well, she's supposed to drive like an hour a day. Oh my god. And like I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're supposed to rack up hours in the rain and this kind of thing." So I'm check marking all the little things. And she's just so eager, right? And I'm like, I'm not even sure she can switch lanes without crashing into people. And like, she's had like instructors, you know, time, but then like I haven't been in the seat. I'm just like freaking out. And so I'm okay. Turns out those roads are a little different when you're on this side and there's like a steep drop off, and she's kind of like,
When was the last time you've been driven somewhere? Like, or I don't know. Do you mostly do all the driving, or do you tend to be the driver?
No, I do the same thing with Brian though, because I don't have depth perception, so I really don't know if we're about to just drive off the road. You know, it's upsetting to me. I don't have a sense of that space, and so, but it's even worse when you don't trust the driver. So I'm like, whoa, and then we get to a spot and we have like these little signs that say, "Please be patient, student driver," and somebody's honking at us as we're like, you know, it was a red light, and she was stopped at the red light to turn on to Thomas Springs and stuff, and then we're like, I was like, "Oh, well, you can turn here, honk, honk, honk," super aggressive, and I was just like, man, I was just like, you can just go ahead, you can turn right, and it's all right, and I'm gonna just stick my hand out here and give this guy a middle finger, and
Yeah.
then she goes, "Mom, it's okay. That's just the adrenaline talking. You can calm down."
Wow.
And then you went, "Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you."
Oh, man, don't honk.
So number one, I do think that's a crucial part though, is dealing with like understanding that there are people that will just be fucking super fired up and honk at you for no goddamn reason.
Yeah.
That there's nothing that you can do, there's nothing that you've done that will affect it, whether or not she did anything wrong, especially in this vulnerable time where she's like just getting her skills together. Like that's an important lesson. In fact, in a lot of ways, it makes me really happy that I would, you know, living in Florida, my grandparents used to pick me and my brother up from school, and they were old and they were not great drivers, and they would get fucking honked at all the goddamn time because they would drive super slow.
I just walked in. Are you guys talking about honky motherfuckers?
No, we're talking about your daughter learning to drive.
Yeah, and all these honky motherfuckers all around her, giving her a hard time.
But I do think that at least at an early age, before I even started driving, I just knew that like, okay, people are just very impatient, because I remember being in the car and not feeling unsafe. But then again, I didn't know what the speed of the road was. And so as I got older, I understood, oh, okay, yeah, people just like, if things are not to their exact specification driving around, then they indeed morph werewolf-esque into honky motherfuckers.
Yes.
I'll tell you what. it's interesting, and I think this only happens as you get older and you worry less about a lot of things. But like, I think I told this on the air, but we walked up to the movie theater and then we walked back, and we're getting ready to cross the street. Don't know if you know this, but you got 3 daughters, one of them 6 years old. Kind of difficult to coordinate everybody crossing the street at the same time. And there's somebody who they were in driver mode in her minivan, looked to be like mid to late 50s or whatever. And she's waiting, and there's chaos as our family goes across the street. Of course, we had just seen Frozen 2, and so she gives a honk, or she didn't even honk. She just starts and then stops and then just gives me one of these. For the audio listeners, arms up, eyes frustrated, shaking the head like, what the fuck, like, what? Like, that thing, right?
Yeah.
And then it was amazing because luckily I just seen a heartwarming movie with the kids or whatever. And it's like, I just gave her a brilliant 1,000 billion watt smile. And I was just, and I just had my arms up and I was like, I did the like patting down motion and I mouthed the words, "It's okay. Everything's gonna be okay." And then it was like in the face of that, she just melted and gave a genuine smile and waited patiently for us to cross the street. But there's something about like, there are those moments that you have that your cup is empty and not running over with stress. Yeah. And it's awesome to be the cool one. It's just like, nothing is fucked here. You're being very undude. We're all cool.
I mean, there is definitely, I feel like we're living in kind of the opposite ends of that spectrum, because that's like the biggest thing. When people actually talk about the difference between like East Coast and West Coast, and like in their energies, Texas is more East Coast than West Coast, although there are very, very major differences between the energies of like, let's say, a New York and an Austin, for example. But like, the biggest thing is, what do you value more, efficiency or serenity? And the trade-offs that happen on one side or the other. Because it's like, if you're on the East Coast, it's like, hey, whatever, you're sick? Fuck you, asshole. Get in here to work. Fucking you see what I got to do? I'm walking here. Where's my Stromboli? On the West Coast, it's like, oh, wait, are you sick? Oh, man, you should definitely sleep for the next 5 years. I know I would. Want $500? Here you go. This is the coolest thing ever. I just made a Stromboli. Please have it. Like,
well, and what's funny is on the East Coast, and I'm thinking of New York here, everything is like, I'm just saying this. I'm just being real with you. And there's something like there's actual.
And West Coasters be like, can I be real with you?
Well, and then what follows is almost certainly a lie. Like, there's that, there's that dance, that West Coasty or even rural, Iowa or what have you, where or in the South we would say bless your heart or whatever, where it's like really that's a scathing, cutting jab.
That is a C word, and not in the Australian sense.
Man, oh man, do people in New York love to say the phrase, you know what you ought to do? They love telling you what you ought to do.
Well, I mean, again, and like, yes, these are stereotypes, but I can only say from my own experience in having worked in New York City and lived in San Francisco and spent time on both East Coast and West Coast, that is like the one big difference is that the East Coast values, it is built in, efficiency matters. Efficiency is the thing that we should all be striving to.
Right.
Maybe we hit it, maybe we don't. But if you don't hit it, you should feel bad and you should make your sacrifices toward that end.
It's in my mind, I think of it as a bunch of electrons saying like, come on, man, we're all trying to hit 3 gigahertz here. We all got to do our fucking part. Would you fucking move? Because I have a bit of data that I got to get over to the CPU ASAP.
Let me just say this. I've never been in a meeting on the East Coast and heard like, oh, yeah, she's late. Anyway, let's just move on. like It's normally like anybody, if it's like, oh, they're late, it's like, okay, well then congratulations. Now socially, it is open season to talk wild shit about this person. And in fact, that's their secret punishment. We might not say that to her face, but secretly here, we are all going to talk shit. Whereas if it's like, oh, they're late before, it's like, oh yeah, like, and that's even before we get into some of the parody shit of like, Mercury being in retrograde and all that. But anyway, I don't know how we got here. All right, here, I'm gonna leave to the bathroom and then we'll be ready to roll.
Ooh, goddamn!
Yeah.
I'm feeling it.
Hey, Brian.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't feel it. Maybe it's a violation of.
No, it's a good time to be feeling it.
I should have asked before I felt it, but I'm sorry. I was just feeling it. I couldn't stop myself.
You're feeling it.
Also,
are valid.
Bonnie, did you notice that thing you just did just now? Yeah. That solves the problem of the thing that you were talking about. We were talking about setting up some stuff over there, and you were like, well, what about during shows? But now you see. You see? Yep. It works.
Yeah, it's cold in here.
Okay. I didn't want to be the one to say it. But Jacob and Bryce both seemed very happy with the temperature.
Oh my God! Well,
I had a feeling. I'm not gonna lie. I was on the cusp. I could have said maybe a couple degrees. It's definitely 62 degrees. It's definitely
Is it 62?
It's 62 in here.
Jesus.
It's about to be 36 out there.
Yeah.
I was gonna suggest maybe whatever, but then I thought, let's just wait and see how Bonnie feels. And now Bonnie's here, and Bonnie's wrapped up.
I got coffee. I got my gloves.
Okay, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna turn on the heater.
Turn the heater on. That's fine.
All right.
See, the reason I didn't
so
turn
cold.
the reason I didn't turn it on is because we were working in here for.
You're working up a sweat.
Yeah, I was up. I was walking. I had my heart rate up. I'm still hopped up on adrenaline. So I'm not feeling it. I got my fancy new Goodwill sweater on. Looking nice.
Did you get Grandpa's sweater?
Well, it's Old Navy, so I don't know.
You got one of each.
Grandpa's.
Oh, yeah.
This is the better.
the old
we
man
agreed
sweater
that
is
this
the
is the better looking of the two, the more flattering of the two. The other one.
I like it.
The other one is tighter up top, and just sort of billows out at the midsection. It's definitely meant for.
Sweater.
And I got them big. Like this is an XL or something. I got them big because I kind of like the bigger sort of baggier style, but with that one, it's more like a knit cap.
I guess it's been 20 years. That's about time for it to come back because I used to wear baggier clothes as we've all mocked and remembered on this very show.
Yeah.
Back in the early mid 90s,
Well, we're
baggy
supposed
everything.
to be genderless now, so be baggy.
Well, I mean, genderless is
genderless.
Our theory is that's why White Claw is tearing it up is because it's a genderless mixed, semi-mixed drink.
I'm just waiting for the white jumpsuits that we're all supposed to wear.
And the Wolverine claws that we have to
and the jewels that we put in our hands that turn red when we turn 25 and we know our
that's
time
what I'm
is up.
thinking about.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
Brian
I was with you.
for me.
And we discover a robot that says protein, algae.
You know, I used to thrift store all the time, especially in college and stuff. And then I was like, man, I always get sick when I go. Like I get headaches, my nose is draining and stuff. And I'm allergic to Tide. And I think there's enough clothes that just have all that Tide. I mean, having all the clothes with that. Dude, I'm allergic
Bonnie
to everything.
So
but
allergic to Tide that she can't go near a beach. It's really upsetting.
Ooh,
especially red
She's like, what
Tide.
time is it?
It's just bad.
low tide, high tide. I can't
Tide's
do either of
coming
them.
in.
You can only go to the beach when it is between
when it's
the
going
tides.
out. Yeah.
Between the two tides.
During low tide.
Low
That's right.
tide.
Hey, Juice.
Yo,
Hey, Justin, I like the part where we're able to talk to each other again.
Oh.
what?
Over.
Hold on, wait a minute.
No, the part where we're able to talk to each
Hey,
other.
fuck you,
over,
fuck you, fuck
over.
you,
No. I'm talking to
Shit,
you.
fuck you.
I'm talking at full volume. You try to interrupt.
Hey,
you try to
hey,
interrupt.
I'm talking
Try
here.
to interrupt.
I'm
You
talking
try to
here.
interrupt.
Where's my Stromboli?
Fuck you. Fuck you. Get out of my place. You grab my thing. You grab my thing. You're not supposed to have that.
Oh my god! All right, I'm so pumped for this show.
I'm telling you, the very best VR experience is your 7th time of watching somebody else who's never done VR before play accounting. It's the best.
But play them bones.
Ooh, play them bones.
Play them
Whoa,
bones.
whoa, buddy, whoa.
All right, give me one more minute to pull up the SF Sketchfest.
Man,
I
we'll
can
give you
remind people to go
hours.
to-
Wow.
Yeah, Neil Fleisch asks, when I go to New York City, should I scream at everybody to ask for my Stromboli? No, but you should get a Stromboli. In fact, you should scream at somebody, hey, asshole, where's the best Stromboli?
What is this
What you
Stromboli?
should do, or alternately say like, "Hey, bro, where's the best Stromboli, man? Oh, give me that Stromboli. I want a Stromboli. Let's go bowling with the Stromboli, bro."
Stromboling.
Stromboli.
What is Stromboli?
It's an inside-out pizza.
Yeah.
What?
Wait.
I mean,
It's like a fucked up calzone, but with like meatballs in it.
All right, yeah. You know what? Nobody's gonna say it. I'll go ahead and say it. All Taco Bell did is rip off all Italian cuisine. Guess what? There's only 4 ingredients in all Italian cuisine. Only 4 ingredients in all of Taco Bell. They said, "What if we stole along with the flag?"
No. Wait, no. You're wrong, Brian. It's not an inside-out pizza. It's an inside-out sub, like a warm sub. So it's like a calzone, but it's also a sub.
Ew.
So
Point
it's got
is,
like meat and shit in it.
Point is, I'm waiting for the race war between
I see.
Yum
I see
Brands
pictures.
and
It's
Italy.
it's a baked wrap. It looks like a wrap. It just looks like one of those cold cut wraps, but they
It looks like the world's
I
most.
want a fucking Stromboli.
Now I want a
now.
Stromboli.
Nah, it looks to me
good.
like the world's most disappointing cinnamon roll.
What?
Looks
It's
like you
all the
cut
things you like. It's
world's
meat and
most disappointing
cheese.
Cinnabon.
Oh,
Oh, gross.
I love it.
I'm looking at that, and
I'm observing this
Bold
observation.
take. Bold take,
and
my
I'm
lady.
thinking.
Oh my
this-
god! By the way, Sutter Kane, who's either in or grew up where I used to grow up, says, "Hey, what time does Stromboli Kitchen close?" Which is an actual restaurant where I grew up.
Oh wow.
Oh.
Hey Justin, do you know what time it is?
What time is it?
It's time for Scary Christmas.
I swear, no. Fuck you.
Hold on.
Right?
What does it sound like? What does it sound like?
Get on that board so you can pump this goddamn garbage through there.
Just real quick. I
Sure.
know we have a new soundboard. I just want to test it all out.
Absolutely.
Just can you imagine what it's like when a
Now,
half-dressed
I will hang up
woman
this
comes
goddamn
downstairs
site. I
and
will hang up this
discovers a late
Brother,
middle-aged
I- you
elderly
can hear me
fat
now.
man
I know
in
that
her
fucking drowned
without
out.
any
Fuck you.
permission?
I
What does
think I
that
got
sound
this.
like?
I think the scene I think would maybe be something like she still hasn't woke. She's still got the sleepies in her eyes.
Oh, it's just you again, Santa.
Sorry, Justin.
I don't know if there's anything to be done about it, but it does seem like the ducking has like it seemed immediately solved, and now it's just slightly less solved. I don't know
I
if
think-
it's because we're being louder.
I think we're just having a good Skype day.
So it may come and go.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see much about what we've changed today that's different than how we were say yesterday.
Okay.
I think we were just having some good Skype day.
Are we sending to Justin any kind of like mix minus stuff or?
We are indeed.
Oh, well, I bet that helps.
Oh.
We already were.
Yeah.
That was pretty adorable. So, like, we were saying, "Ooh, there's a little ducking," and then Bryce just reaches back. He reaches back and he just kind of touches one.
Just fucking diddles it.
Yeah,
Just-
he's just like, meh. Like that's all, like he's so familiar with it already that he didn't even really have to look at it. He just kind of went, nudge.
Well,
and then-
with the multicolored lighting panel here on the X32, it's easy to find.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's like Bryce went to summer camp and he comes back and he's just like, watch that. See that bra? One finger. Flip, and it just pops open. And they were like, God damn. God damn.
All right. You guys want to do a show?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Then let me click a few more buttons on my side so that it looks right.
Open a few more bras.
Oh,
Blip, blop,
that's
bloop.
right. Open many, many bras. All right. Here we go.